Hey there. How are you guys doing? Okay, as you probably see on that other screen, I'm reinstalling Sophos again, just to kind of show you what I am doing. And I also got CAPTCHA working with WordPress, so I'll show you what I did to do that. And hopefully by Monday, you guys can have both a virtual min / WordPress site running and running behind the Sophos firewall. So while that's still installing, and I know not all of you are here, but I'll post this recording. Let me show you what I did here. Can you guys see the screen okay? What's the public IP of the EI lab? I'll send that to you in a private message. I set up a Sophos VM here. Let me show you how I set it up. I gave it 2 gigs of memory to start with for right now and 4 processors, just because I wanted this to install quickly. And then I'll make sure to set that down to 2 processors later on. Regarding the hard drive type, I went ahead and kept it as VirtIO, but then I went and changed this SCSI controller. In other words, I took the default of SCSI. I changed the size to only 20 gigs, by the way, because we don't really need 32 gigs, which is the default. And then before I started the machine, I came back here and I changed the SCSI controller to this default LSI instead of that VirtIO SCSI because it wasn't working right. It should be working. I did find some links at the Sophos website that says this should work just fine under KVM, but for whatever reason it's not working. So I just chose a slower controller card. It doesn't really matter that much because Sophos doesn't write a lot of stuff to the hard disk. Most of the stuff it's doing is up in memory. If you guys are here, say yes or something in the chat window so I know you're here. And then the other thing that I changed was I added 2 network cards. It adds 1 network card, and I made sure to choose something that I knew was compatible, although again, it's supposed to work with VirtIO, which is the default. I told it to be a Realtek card, which is a very generic card. And then again, before I started the VM, I went back to the hardware here and I added a second network card. So I have Net 0 and Net 1. Both, if you notice, by the way, are on the same VMBR0. And I did that for a reason, and I'll show you guys why in a minute. So I put them both on the same logical or the same virtual network. Okay, so let me go back to the installation. Let's see if the installation is done yet, because I was doing a reinstall. Why is it doing that? And I was reinstalling it so that it should be on 192.168.20.240. That's what it should be on if it's finished installing. I close some of these windows, get them out of my way. Why is it doing that? What is going on? I can't, excuse me guys, I tried to click to open that stupid window and it's not opening it. Weird. It's like double clicking. What is going on? I'm not, excuse me, guys. I don't know what exactly is going on there. I'm not trying to do that. Let me close all of these stupid windows and reopen Proxmox too. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I was choosing 20.201, not 10.201. Ah, that was my mistake the whole time. Okay, well, in that case, this isn't going to work. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it. But what I was doing is I had installed this Sophos VM here of 240. Now, fortunately, I made a snapshot and I recommend that you make a snapshot. Yeah, I'll take a look at your email when I get a chance. As soon as you take a snapshot, I'm sorry, as soon as you do an install, if you chose the wrong IP address and you can't talk to it, there's no way to fix that after that installation is complete on here. So fortunately, I took a snapshot before I actually started doing anything. So I'm going to roll back to that. Even though it's probably in the middle of the install, I don't care. So that's okay. I'm going to show you guys what I did. Okay, so now if I get a console to that, I should be booting up as if it's the first time. I'm going to hit enter there. I'm going to hit enter here. I'm going to make sure before I go any further that the hardware options are where I want them. Yes, I have a VMBR0 and a VMBR0, net 0 and net 1. I'm going to actually install it on net 1 temporarily. Okay, I want to make that 192.168.10.240. I'm going to make that one 192.168.10.241. And that's because it's assuming when you install Sophos that you're installing it on an internal network. But this is really, our net 0 is really going to be our external network, according to the EI lab. And that's going to be our internal network. But we need to talk to them both temporarily. You'll understand what I mean in just a minute. Okay, so English, America, Chicago, although let's pretend we're in Cancun for the hell of it, okay? Why not? Everybody okay with being in Cancun? I'm going to choose Ethernet 1, which is, like I said, it's on VMBR 0, but we're going to change it to VMBR 1 after we do this install. Need to give it a valid IP address, 192.168.10.241 for right now, and then I'm going to change that to some internal range for right now. So I'm actually allocating 2 Ethernet addresses temporarily. And it doesn't matter if you put a gateway address in there right now. You might as well go ahead and put it in, but we're going to take it out later. We don't really need it because this network that we change this to is going to be unto itself, and we're going to pass everything through Sophos. I'm going to choose no on do you want to install a 64-bit kernel, because we don't really need it. Just again, taking the defaults. Now, while that's installing, let me show you what I figured out on WordPress. Okay, guys? So it had been so long since I used WordPress, I forgot how to use those short codes and contact forms. So I'll walk you through that. Oh, God, why is it doing that? Okay, so I had this website, Funky Cat, or Funky Cat 2020 set up. Already working. Under Virtual Min. Oh, I'm actually trying to go to WebMin and Virtual Min. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to go to funkycat2020.com. That should work. Okay, so that's what I've come up with so far. And you'll notice that I have already implemented, and I'll show you how I did this. We'll actually roll back. If I use one of the contact forms, I've actually added, or is it contact me? I've actually added using, no, close menu. I don't know where the contact me is. Using the NO-Captcha. So let me show you what I did, and I'll roll back real quick. Funky Cat 2020, log in. Well, that should be working. No, that's not working. Well, dang it. Oh, I know why. You know why? Look, I'm not a robot. I actually installed the CAPTCHA, and it installs the CAPTCHA, this NO-Captcha, on every single thing. So I had to do this. Hopefully this will work, or I'll have to rebuild it again. So I'm not a robot. Click login. What was that? Okay, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can read it, because it's really small right now. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to roll back, or what I might do is just show you this, and then I'm going to clone. I'm going to use WebMin and Virtual Min to clone this website and roll this one back, just so that I have that website, just to show you how to do that. So I added a few plugins here. I added that advanced NO-Captcha. We had already added that. I added this really simple CAPTCHA just to remind myself how to do CAPTCHAs, and I was playing around with that. So the way that you use one of these CAPTCHAs, and I already installed, and we already talked about this, adding the contact form. So let me show you the contact form. So if we go to our installed, or if we go to contact form here, and we go to settings, it's one way to get to it. Here are the contact forms. It comes with this contact form 1 already. And I simply duplicated this form. So when you install contact form 7, this is what you get. This is the form, the default form that it created. I added that, by the way, so I'll erase that out. But that's what you end up with when you first install contact form. So what I did was I simply duplicated that to this contact form with advanced CAPTCHA after I installed that plugin for advanced CAPTCHA. First of all, I went in and I edited it so I could change this. I actually added that in there. And the way you add stuff in like this, additional items on your form, is all of these buttons here are additional labels that you can add. Like if you wanted to add, please enter your the date, for example. You can click insert tag, and it will actually click the short code in for you. And then you put a label around that label. Enter the date. And this is basically XML that I'm writing around the short code, and then label. And that'll show up on that form as well. Okay, that's the name of the variable, basically, that date 304. And you can add multiple dates, by the way. That's why they allow you to do that. So again, if I click on date here. I needed to add some other date. I could save it as something else. Now it's already coming up with a new name, but I can call it something else if I wanted to, like date of birth, for example. And it'll change it to that, and I can say, you can put default values in there just to kind of show people what you're looking for. DDYY, something like that. I'm not going to bother forcing that though. Insert tag, and that'll insert it wherever. It inserted it here. I don't really want it there, so I'm going to click that off, and I'll put and then I'll actually enter the label, the actual short code there, which creates the box for date of birth, and then I will end label off. Okay, now you see this at the bottom, by the way. This is within the form. That is the short code that I was told to use. All I did was copy and pasted that from the reCAPTCHA screen after I installed that plugin for reCAPTCHA. So here's the installed plugins. This is what the advanced NO-Captcha told me to do when I went into it. It says, use this short code. Now let's see what I could roll back and show you guys how I did this if you wanted to, if you wanted me to. There's the actual code that you simply copy and paste that and drop it into whatever form you're using, whether it's contact form 7. I'm having trouble just copying that. Right click that now. You copy and paste that into whatever form you're using. If it's not contact 7 form, it's going to be some other kind of form that you're using. Oh, sorry. Not sure what that did. So this contact form, the simple one, doesn't have it in it. But if I wanted to add it, I would choose a place to put it. Usually you want to put it at the bottom right near your send button. So you simply paste that short code in, and to add that extra bracket, just above the submit line. I don't need to stick a label on it because I don't need to identify it. It will draw a nice box around it to use it. Now in order to use this actual code, and the reason that it works is because I had to actually apply for an API at Google, because this advanced NO-Captcha is using Google's I'm not a robot code rather than code that was written. Back in the old days, if we click on contact forms here and look at like this really simple CAPTCHA contact form, I installed this other plugin called Really Simple CAPTCHA. And it has no setup page by itself because it is just really simple. So I clicked on here on view details, and it describes this really simple CAPTCHA and how to use it. And within here, it shows you what shortcode to install, or you can go to the guy's website and read how to install it as well. You might want to try this one out first, and then come up to one of your contact forms, clone or duplicate contact form into a new one. I created this one here. Let's edit that. It's basically the same template, except I added this text right here. Here's the actual short code that it said to use. Now I typed in that, human test, type in this code below, but this is the actual short code that we use. This is a very simple one. So let's try to use this one. Okay, there's the name. This is the actual short code for this contact form. So the way you actually use a contact form, and by the way, since I'm here, I'm going to click on this mail thing. This is where you can change where you want to mail it to. This is the response that you as the web admin actually get back out of that form. And then you can say different things on these messages, like thank you for submitting the form, whatever. But anyway, we'll go back to pages now, and we want to insert that contact form into a page. So I chose to use this contact me form. Let's edit that. Now, right now I'm using that advanced NO-Captcha one, but I'm going to take that one out. I'm going to put that really simple CAPTCHA one in there. Then I will update that. Then if I go to Funky Cat 2020, and let me go back here for just a minute. I'm actually just, to cheat, I'm just going to copy this link. This is the actual link that you would send somebody to. And I'm going to go over here and just paste that link. Just so I get directly to the form, just to show you how this works. Okay, so here's the contact me form that I created. That probably wasn't the best background because you can't read these tags very easily. But it says here, if I highlight that, human test, type in this code below. So this is asking me to put in my name, my email address, I'll change that background in a minute, and I'll show you how to do that. That's really easy too. By the way, there's dozens of tutorials on YouTube that you can watch on doing some basics in WordPress. So I'm not going to teach you how to do WordPress stuff like changing backgrounds and things like that. You guys can go do that yourself, but I do want you to do some customization on your WordPress site. What did I say? What's that box supposed to be? Oh, sucks. And then it says, please type in these letters, QXF3. Oh, I guess I didn't type it in right. VNVA. Or maybe I did. Maybe I did. Yeah. Oh, well, it says there's an error. So I guess I didn't do something right, but. I guess I can't read. That should be working. But anyway, I didn't really like that simple form, but I just wanted to install one just to show you where to insert the short code. Now, the advanced one is a little bit more complicated, not too much more complicated. We'll take that out of this contact me page and not have anything in there for right now. And since that background is messed up, let's fix that background. So I'm going to go to Appearance and Customize. And it was maybe a poor choice of backgrounds because of the color. So I'm going to choose background image, and I'm going to choose to change image and choose something else, or maybe even remove it. Actually, that's probably better to just remove it. Just so you can see what the heck we're typing in on the background. All right, to install this more advanced, I'm not a robot type thing, I first found that plugin. and installed that plugin, which was a very easy plugin to find and install. I just Googled for advanced NO-Captcha. So I went into the add new here and I found it in the library and installed and activated it. So that was easy. How do you use it is another story. So in order to use it, you actually have to apply for an API at Google. Okay, and it says here in the installation and in the description what you have to do. So it says you got to apply for it. I'm going to click on settings here. You'll notice that it has this thing that says site key there and secret key. After you install it, these items are not there. You have to go apply, like I said, for a site key from Google. Now, I'm showing you that. You're not really supposed to show the public that, but I don't really care about this website. So, you type Google API key. And you go to Google's API website. You can apply for an API key, and you can get as many as you need, as far as I can tell. Go to console. I'm going to go to my API console, which I already have one built. Oh, that's not where I want to go. Excuse me. I don't know why it sent me there. Oh, that's because that's a Google Maps API key. I don't want to do that. Hang on one second. Oh, here it is. Okay, so first thing you need to do, get reCAPTCHA keys from Google. Click on that link right there. If you don't already have a Gmail account, you need to get one, but once you have a Gmail account and you're logged in, it'll take you to this page. I already have one installed, but if you need to install one, you click on plus here to create. Type in a label. I would use the name of your website. Choose reCAPTCHA version 2, not reCAPTCHA version 3, at least right now. You can try 3 if you want, but start out with 2 first. And then you'll add the domain down here. Now this is going to complain and tell me I already have that domain set up. Accept the reCAPTCHA terms of service. And actually, I'm going to break this on purpose because I don't want it to overwrite the one I already have. And click submit. And then there they are. There's that site key and that secret key. So all you have to do is click copy over here and then go back to your website. Where's the recap? There it is up the top. And paste the site key there and a secret key there. So it's pretty easy to do. You just paste that site key there, paste that secret key from right there. Just copy and paste that whole thing, or click copy secret key and paste it there. Then once that's in, you can, if you want to, go ahead and check all of these things. And what that does is this automatically will stick in those I am not a robot links on all of the existing forms. But it comes originally like this with nothing checked. And it's got instructions here. It says if you want to embed this in anything else, just see the instructions. So click there and it'll tell you all you have to do is embed that short code somewhere on a contact form. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn all of these off for right now because I don't want any of them on right now. I just want to excuse me, manually do it myself. So now I go back to my, not my pages, but my contact forms. There's that contact form 1. I'll go ahead and edit that one and add it to that. Or actually, I already had added it to that, but I'll just re-add it again, just so you can say, okay, I've added it. Save that. Then I need to make sure that that short code is actually in a page I can access, like this page thing here. And here's the contact me page. And I don't think I have complaints. Now I'm going to add that short code for that form, which I've embedded the CAPTCHA into. Update that. Copy link address. Paste that over here just to go directly to the contact me page. And then there's the I am not a robot. So the moment we click on that, it's actually going to send some code to Google, and it's going to authenticate this website with that API that you applied for. That's all you had to apply for that. Okay, check mark. So I got a response back from Google saying, we're pretty sure that this guy that's on your website is not a robot because he took a certain amount of time to click on that. Then click send, and I know there's an error. It's probably something that I did. This has nothing to do with the CAPTCHA. This has to do with probably I monkeyed with some stuff on the contact forms page that messed that up. So I'll go back here. Probably that. Probably because it's not a real email address in the world. So let me change it back to that temporarily. That'll probably fix that. Let me try that again then. No, I've done something else to break the contact form. But anyway, if you follow those steps, and I can send you a couple of links if you want. I had was making some notes as I went along. Let me see if I can find those notes real quick. That's 4477 notes. And I'll show you the links I used. Give me just a second to find that document. I can't find it now. Hang on. I'll have to find it later on, but and I'll find it later on and I'll email it to you guys. But all I did, because I was having a little bit of issue with this, is I just Googled for advanced reCAPTCHA. how to install and use it, and I found some videos on it. I just basically followed one of those videos and one of those helps on how to do this. But I pretty much just showed you how, so hopefully you can follow along with what I did. This is going to be the hardest part here. That's a little foreign to you. But it sends you there if you just follow the page. If I back up here, this is what you see after you install reCAPTCHA. There's the link right there at the top. So it tells you where to go. Just click on Google there. Takes you to the Google API page. You apply for an API with your domain name that you're using, whatever you call it, FunkyCat 2020, and it does work internally. It doesn't even have to be a real website. It just has to be the name of your website. Okay, so you guys think you can get that done? Try it out. See if you can get it done, and then send me an email and say, hey, go check out my WordPress site to see if I've got this thing working, or just to show me that you've got it working. I would like you to customize the form a little bit, the contact form. Customize it a little bit further than, sorry, not sure why it's doing that. I'm getting like extra key mouse presses when I'm not pushing them. Edit that contact form one, or actually I prefer that you duplicate that and then change it so that way you have the older one. Before you do any of this stuff though, remember, make a snapshot in case you screw stuff up of your virtual machine, which I'm using in this case, this one here. So I made a snapshot of that before I started installing WordPress. So there was before virtual, and there was before the CAPTCHA, when I was experimenting around with using different CAPTCHAs. So if you mess things up, you can roll back and try it again. Okay, if there's not any questions about that, I don't see anybody typing anything or saying anything. So let's see if Sophos is done installing real quick. You guys see what's going on there? It keeps taking it away. I just get another console. Let me make this smaller for a second. Should be done by now. Okay, so it says now you can go to 192.168.10.241. So make sure that's correct and make sure that's within your range and that it's not anybody else's IP address. And go ahead and it's on reboot. So I'll hit enter to reboot. I'm going to watch it reboot just to see if I see any errors. And at this point, you could turn it off and remove the CD drive. And also, eventually, you want to turn this off and change those processors back down to 2 after you do the install. You don't need it at 4. I pressed F2 just now. Also, what I'm going to do while that's booting up, just to make sure it's alive, I'm going to open a command window and I'm just going to start a ping over here, 192.168.10.240, -T to tell it don't bother timing out. Just continuously try to ping it. Was it 240 or 241? I can't remember. That was 241. Okay, I can't ping it. That's not a good sign, but it may be that it's being blocked, that pings are being blocked. So let's just try to access it. Let's assume that it's working. You will not be able to log in there because we don't have any passwords. It's not going to do you any good there. HTTPS:// 192.168. 10.241:4444. Better work, or I'm going to pull my hair out. What hair I have left. No, I didn't upload it yet, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so far behind on that because every time I get finished with this, I got to go put out fires. And so I've been doing, I will get it done tonight, both of these. So I don't have any fires to put out tonight, at least that I know of. Let me finish this. Okay, so let's finish. It's asking for a host name. Like I said, I don't think we need a fully qualified domain name there, so I'm just going to call it Sophos Jake. If I need to put a fully qualified domain name in, I'll add it later. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put a fully qualified domain name in just to. Nah, I don't need to. I can put that in later. I can fix that later if I need to. That stuff's not as important. The important stuff is this right here, the password. I'm going to just use my simple 123456 password that I'm using here. jake@uh.edu. I accept the terms, perform basic system setup, and oh, it's complaining. You. I'll say I'm from the United Kingdom, just for grins and giggles. Watch everything come up with funny letters. They put U's in everything in the UK, like color, harbor. Says that'll take 40 seconds, and then I should be able to log back into it. That's weird. I can't choose those. I can't choose those. It's so dumb. I'm logging back in, and you'll see now why I did both of those IP addresses, or both of those virtual machine bridges on the same port. Admin, username, not root. I'm going to click continue. License file. I'm not going to worry about a license file right now. We don't need a license file. Internal LAN. Okay, so see, that's going to change, but we're not going to change it right now. So just leave it at that. Then it's going to say, set up your internet connection. We could go ahead and set up the internet connection now and say, well, that's actually an Ethernet 0. It's a standard Ethernet interface. We could go ahead and try to give it an IP address now. It might complain and say, hey, that's in the same range, but let's just try it. 192.168.10.240. That's what I want the quote unquote external address to be. I do need a gateway for this because this is my only link to the internet at this point. DNS forwarder, I want to put in 192.168.1.31, which I can add more DNS servers later. I'm going to go ahead and click all of these things, and this will pre-set up some filters for me, which you can look at later. I'm going to go ahead and turn on that one. I'm not going to turn that one on. Or I might as well. I think I'll turn them all on. What the heck? We can scan for viruses too. Let's not worry about email. Okay, so this is the dashboard of Sophos. Now, supposedly, I should be able to access Sophos on both the external and the internal IP. Right now, like I said, they're both in the same range. But let's see if that actually works. Let's see if I can access it on the external IP, https://192.168.10.240, not 241. Yeah, that works. That's a good sign. And let me show you what I'm going to do. So from now on, that first number, the 240, is what I want you to use. If we go here to interfaces, click on interfaces, we'll see that we've got two interfaces there, ETH0 and ETH1. ETH0 is the first card we added under Proxmox, which is now the 240. We want that to be the external interface. We want ETH1 to be an internal interface, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to go ahead and change it. Might as well change it right now. Or actually, before I change it, I'm going to go into Proxmox here and change this. I may not be able to change the Ethernet. Oh, no, I should be able to change the Ethernet bridge. So here's Jake Sophos. There's the two network cards there. So that net 0, that's what I'm talking to now on the .240. I'm going to change that. I'm going to double click it, change that from VMBR0 to VMBR1, which is, as you saw there, that it's the workstation LAN. That's that second Ethernet port in the back of the server that we have nothing connected to yet. Now I'll click OK. So now I probably should not be able to talk to this with 241 because it's not assigned to that. It's going to not work now because now it's looking at another physical port. But I don't care about 240 anymore. Let me blow this back up so you can see this better. And this is why I did it this way, because Sophos automatically sets up some names for you. So they call this interface the external WAN interface. You can name it whatever you want. Added by installation wizard. You can put your own comments there. And then this is now needing to change to an internal IP range that you can choose for yourself. Make it whatever you want. How about let's make it 10.0.10.1. Okay? And make sure there is no gateway. It's no longer a gateway. So don't click default gateway or anything like that. Just say that this is the internal IP range for my Sophos. You don't need to make it unique to anybody else in the lab. You just need to make it not 192.168.10 or .20 or .30 or .40. Make it something else, anything else. So like 10.0.10.1 or 10.0.20.1. Let's change it to that. Okay, now let's try using it. How do we actually use this now, this firewall that we've set up? Well, let us do a couple of things. Let's take this, let's take our CentOS under Proxmox 2 here. On my Jake CentOS 7 there. Or better yet, let's not take the CentOS. Don't I have a GUI running? Let's see if my GUI, no, I don't remember if it's even working or not. Oh, we'll take the CentOS. Let's change the IP address in this CentOS. And let's change, I'm not going to change it yet, but what we are going to want to do is we need to change that networking port on CentOS 7 there. Right now it's on both of them, but I want to change, and I've already done it here. I've actually already added another network card called Net1, VMBR1, and I made it 10.0.1.10. on VMBR1. So you see how they relate? The Sophos VM here, its hardware, it's also on VMBR1, and we made that IP address 10.0.10.1, 10.0.10.1. So we need to make our other thing 10.0.10. something else. Let's copy and paste that actually. I think it's not quite right. Whoops, didn't mean to double click it. Oh yeah, that's not exactly right. It's close. 10.0.10.10 or anything other than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something else in that range, as long as those first 3 numbers are the same that you set on your Sophos for the quote unquote internal range or the workstation LAN that we're setting up. Okay, now before I make the official changeover, I probably should log into VirtualMin and log into WebMin and make sure that they're using this new number. So 10.0.10.10. Let me copy and paste that. Yeah. And I can still get to it by FunkyCat 2020. So that still works. I'm going to go into WebMin. Guys having fun yet? I could have logged in as FunkyCat, but I'm logging in as root because I made the password the same. That's VirtualMin. I'm in WebMin right now. And the reason I went into WebMin and not VirtualMin, and maybe I should go into VirtualMin, is because I want to change the IP addresses of everything. And I'll go over to VirtualMin and see. Maybe I need to change it over here. Well, it's going slow. Let me go back to WebMin. Let's see if WebMin sees both of the Ethernet cards. It should see both of them. I added both of them temporarily to this VM or this container. I'm going to go down here to networking. Network configuration. Let's take a look there. I may need to go to hardware, but I'm going to network configuration first. Network interfaces. Let's go there. I don't see both network interfaces. All I see is that one there that I either set that in DHCP or I hard coded it. I don't remember. So we need to add a new network interface. So I'm going to click Add New Interface. It should be called ETH1. The first one was ETH0. Active at boot, yes. IP address. We'll copy that 10.1.10.10 there. And we need a gateway too, but let's see if this works. Doesn't seem to be present now, so it can't find ETH1, and that's probably because I need to tell it to automatically detect and find that. So I found ETH0 just fine. It doesn't find ETH1. I probably need to reboot. That will probably fix that. So I reboot any of several ways. I could actually reboot here if I wanted to. But I think I'll just go back to Proxmox and reboot it from there. Once I reboot it, it should automatically find that second network card there. What do we do if we haven't been able to get WordPress working? Send me an email and then tell me which VM it is and the password so I can take a look at it. I'm going to go into the console here and see if I can see both of them. IP space address. I see both of them now. And so this one's called ETH0 and this one's called ETH1. There's this additional stuff after it, but we only care about that first part. ETH0 and ETH1. So now it should see them both. We log back into our Funky Cat 2020 because it's back up. Excuse me. Gotta go get some coffee. And there's probably even an easier way to do this. We probably could have just renamed ETH0 and put it on VMBR1, but I wanted to show you both of them there. So there's ETH1, 10.0.10.10. I didn't save anything, but I'm going to click save, and it should tell us, it should have given us an error if we weren't able to talk on it. Let's go back to what I want to go back to. Let's see if I can ping 10. Okay, so my IP address is 10.0.10.10. I should be able to be ping 10.0.10.1, which is the IP address I gave Proxmox. And I can. That's a really good sign. So that means that I could basically get rid of ETH0. I could delete it off that machine now and force everything through the Proxmox, the Sophos. So as long as I can ping the Sophos from here, I can change up my networking. So let's just go ahead and continue changing it through the web interface, at least until I can no longer talk to it in the web interface, because at some point you won't be able to talk to it. And you'll have to log back in, because Funky Cat 2020 is not done. Dang it, it won't let me go to those. Why does it do that? Anybody else having this kind of trouble? Not letting me maximize. So let's see, I need to change. I want to change the gateway, because the gateway is no longer going to be 192.168.10.1 for this machine anymore. I'm going to go here to routing and gateways. So it's no longer on ETH0, it's on ETH1. And it's now 10.0.10.1. going to go here, see if I need to change anything there. No, don't need to change anything there. Where I know I am going to need to change some stuff is in Virtual Mint to make things work properly. Because like I said, as soon as I get rid of that interface, I won't be able to talk to Virtual Mint anymore. Change IP address. So that's my current IP. Let's see, no, I don't change it there. I may not need to change it at all. Oh, under system settings, that's where I need to go. Almost done here. Network settings. So I went under Virtual Mint configuration under system settings. That's where I wanted to go. Network settings, Ethernet 0, and there's the IP address. I need to change that from ETH0 to ETH1. And I need to change that right there to 10.1.10.10. Now, like I said, as soon as I do this, I'm going to probably lose connectivity to the machine, but I'm going to fix that in a minute. Yeah, so I'll need to fix those. I can click up, well, I can't click that anymore because now I've lost connectivity to the machine. Oh no, I'm sorry, I still have connectivity because I'm still talking to, on ETH0, at least until I take that away. Change now, yes, it's just, what it's doing is it's basically changing all the IPs for me in the files. That's why I'm doing it this way. Okay, almost there, almost there. So now FunkyCat 2020 is no longer going to be accessible at that 192.168.10.219 because I'm going to get rid of that network card now. So I'm going to go over to Proxmox 2 here, and I'm going to say this machine here no longer has net 0. I don't want it on that network anymore. So I'm going to get rid of that network card. So I just killed the access to it. Oh my God, I've cut myself off. How do I talk to it? I'm going to use Sophos. So there's the IP. Let me go to Sophos. Sophos can talk to it. So, and as long as it can talk to Sophos, we're okay. Like if I go here to a console, as long as I can ping the Sophos IP, I'm good. 10.0. Or no, it's 10. Yeah, 10.0.10.1. And actually, I should be able to ping the outside world because Sophos is already doing its job. In other words, it's being a firewall. Oh, excuse me, network unreachable. Okay, well, no problem. We're going to fix that. As long as we know that this is our, as long as this machine knows that its default route has to go through Sophos from now on. Okay, we might need to fix that. But let's go put in a forward in Sophos. So that's what I wanted to show you how to do. I want to access that machine internally with a NAT rule. So I'm going to go over here to network protection. I'm going to go to NAT. And I click on this NAT tab right here. So network protection, NAT, and then NAT again right here. There are no NAT rules. I'm going to add a new NAT rule. For traffic coming from anywhere in the world using a certain service, I'm going to click this little tab here. And I'm going to choose all the popular web ports. I think there's one already set up called web surfing or HTTP. Web surfing. Let's throw that in there. See how I just drag and drop that? Let's double click on that and see what it says. So this includes ports for port 80, port 8080, port that port, and then port 443. Going to my external IP address, I click on that. My external address. Throw that in there. That's the 192.168.10.240. That's what I set up for Sophos. Change the destination to the internal address of my machine that's running the WordPress site. Now I don't have it defined in here yet, so I'm going to click on that little plus sign, and I'm going to say that's that Jake CentOS 7. It's a host. Its IP address I changed it to 10.0.10.10. And the service too, keep the services the same, set up an automatic firewall rule, click save. Now turn it on, wasn't on yet. Going to clone that NAT rule because I need to add a little bit more. I need to say for traffic going from anywhere using another service known as, I'm going to add one here, and I'm going to call it webmin on port 10,000, so I can talk to it. Going to that address, change it to that address. Okay, so there's webmin. Turn that one on. I'm going to clone that one because I think I also want to add usermin, which I happen to know uses port 20,000. Turn that one on. Okay, so now we're almost there. Funky Cat 2020 can no longer be gotten to from 192.168.10. whatever, so I need to go edit my hosts file in my Windows machine here. I need to take that IP address out because I can no longer get to it from that. I have to use the public address of the Sophos, which is 192.168.10.240. Got that? That's the public IP address that's right there. So let's see if that works. If we're lucky, that works. If we're unlucky, it means I missed a step. Knowing me, I probably missed a step. Save that. Let me make sure the changes took effect. They did. Like I said, may or may not work. Looks like it's having trouble with it. Let's try it this way. HTTPS:/. Let's try it with the IP address, 192.168.10.240:10,000. That should get us to virtual min or webmin, regardless of whether our site's working or not, and it's not. So I'm sure I messed up something and need to fix it. So I'll fix it and send you guys a link on what I did to fix that. But that's the general idea, is I'm taking this machine here, this Jake CentOS 7, taking it off of net 0 and putting it on net 1, changing the IP address here. Oh, I see what the issue is. I don't have a gateway in it. 10.0.10.1. I had to put the gateway there only because this is a container. That's the only reason why I had to do that. I may have to reboot it. Oh, I bet it will work now. I just have to put HTTPS in there. That should work. Connection refused. Oh, I'm close. I'm close. I'm getting connection refused now. So that means I'm talking to it. I just need to change some firewall filter at that point. So I'll fix that, show you guys what I did to fix that, but I need to start my next 4477 class. So if you've got any questions, you have any issues with getting WordPress running, I want that done first. So don't even worry about Sophos right now if you don't have your WordPress site working yet. Send me an email to the profjake@gmail.com address or jake@uh.edu. They go the same place, and I'll see if I can move you along. But make sure that when you email me, tell me which Proxmox machine, this is in the interest of time, which Proxmox machine you're on, what the container number or VM number is, 207, 307, whatever it is, and then your username and password that you're using for that container or VM, and I'll see if I can get it working for you, or see what you not put in or done wrong that's keeping it from installing. Okay, guys? So I will see you on Monday, and I promise I will post a lot more between now and Monday so that we can get done with this class on Monday and hopefully give everybody good grades. But I want to see how far we can get by Monday. Talk to you later.